The ball up, and that big man matchup we mentioned right off the top, right in the center circle, and it is TCU in black. It is a blackout, by the way, here at Scholmeyer Arena tonight.
Now there is a size differential, and coming out early, we're seeing Scott Drew in this zone, something that they used that was really effective last time these two teams matched up.
See Posey back in the lineup for a second straight game with TCU. The skip pass. Ouellette coming off a big game, spinning. Uday caught some contact from O'Meara. And that's a big early foul here in the opening minute.
And that is huge. When you look at Norchad O'Meara, we talk about him a lot. He's very, very foul prone due to how hard he plays. And to pick up a foul in the first 28 seconds of this ball game, not a good sign for Baylor.
O'Meara, who has 11 consecutive double-figure scoring games, 25 total on the season. And to give you an idea, this is just game 30 on the season for Baylor.
The season flew by, huh?
It does go fast.
Seasons
well,
flew
as it turns out, it's going to be Baylor basketball. So Uday misses both. So Baylor wearing white on the road. Scott Drew starting five. This is just the sixth time this season, with all the injuries Baylor's had, that this combination of five players takes the floor to start the game.
And if you notice, they started off with Posey on DJ Edgecombe. They do tend to switch a lot, but Posey was the original matchup on Edgecombe. I like that matchup right there.
BJ finds Celestine. Celestine scores. So it's Jalen Celestine with the game's first bucket.
And not typically something we see him do. He is a catch-and-shoot three-pointer, wants to spot up behind the arc, but if you close out too hard, he can put the ball on the floor and get to his floater.
Jamie Dixon's team, I mentioned Posey's second consecutive start for him. There's a floater off the heel. Ouellette able to get his own rebound after it pinballed around. Reynolds, the lefty, fires and scores.
And rebounding is something that I think that's what the differential was in the first matchup. TCU dominated Baylor on the glass, 41-25. So watch the offensive glass particularly. And so far we saw the three from Reynolds off of the offensive rebound. Baylor has to block out, especially with this small ball lineup, and no Ojamuna.
Edgecombe, three. He answers right back for the Bears.
And he hasn't been doing that well, only shooting 24 from three in the last five. But if he can start knocking that down like he did earlier on in conference play, that could be a huge lift for the offense.
Back out front for Ouellette. Posey sees O'Meara, then from the backside, he gets stripped by Celestine. Love, one dribble, puts it up and scores. You can still tell Langston Love, there's always a little bit of a hitch in that giddy up occasionally. He's fighting through it. The injuries that have been so prevalent for Baylor this year.
Yeah, and you can tell he's not 100%. I mean, the way that he runs, the way that he moves, the way that he plays, he's still not 100%. But David Punch is always 100%, and the way that he plays, this young man has no idea how good he can be, and he's getting more and more comfortable on the offensive side game by game.
Yeah, the freshman Punch did not score in the first meeting with TCU, just one of two scoreless games he's had this year, but he gets in the scoring column early here in the rematch. High skip, that one's airmailed by Love over the head of Edgecombe.
Let's take a look at this. This is how you move the ball against the zone. When you go side to side and get the ball to the middle, good things happen, especially against the zone. Look for TCU to be intentional with their attack through the middle when Baylor plays this zone.
Reynolds acted like he was going to split two defenders, but Edgecombe batted it away. Reynolds gets it back, gets to the rim, but can't hit. Now they got numbers with Reynolds trailing the play. Celestine three. Went off the heel in the corner. Edgecombe. And they're able to get a timeout. So Baylor uses a timeout to try to save a possession here, just shy of the 4-minute mark of the game. That's going to take us to our first timeout with 16:25 to play in this first half.
This group has put countless hours on the court to help TCU basketball bring their time to TCU. Please give a round of applause for our senior managers. Now, welcome to the court presented on the Origin Bank, your TCU Showgirls.
Well, the 2025 Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship will feature all 16 teams. It starts a week from today, Tuesday, March 11th. And the Big 12 Championship returns once again to Kansas City's T-Mobile Center, where it has been held since 2010. First round action appears exclusively on Big 12 on ESPN Plus, starting with the quarters, though. Every game broadcast on the ESPN family of networks with all games air or simulcast on ESPN Plus. Frogs down 2. There's Scott Drew. Season 22, 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year. Last one, that in 2022. And of course, owner of the 2021 National Championship. Baylor's hit 3 of their first 4 from the field. TCU 2 of 4. All 5 combined baskets for the two teams have been assisted. That's a Roach 3. Jeremy just in the game. And Jeremy Roach, who's coming off a terrific game off the bench against Oklahoma State on Saturday, had a game-high 21 and picks up where he left off.
100%. 4 for 7 from 3 last game. And right there on the catch, immediately looks to get it off, and it looked good.
That was headed nowhere except for Celestine, who gets another steal. In transition, it's sent to the corner. That's a 3 from Roach again. Just a little bit long, but unable to come up with the offensive board was O'Meara that time, and it's out to TCU.
And that's one thing, Mark, that Alette has to clean up. When you look at his last 2 games, I know last game he had 9 assists. He was terrific, but he's averaging 5 turnovers in the last 2. He has to be more careful with the basketball, especially in a matchup like this, where it means so much and you're trying to work your way into the NCAA tournament. He has to take better care of the basketball.
And he'll take a seat. Brendan Wenzel has checked in. Zarian White had also come in at the last step ball prior to that. Earl Reynolds with the dribble. Uday faces up on O'Meara. Shot clock gets to 7. And the freshman Michael Robinson has it knocked away there by Jaden Nunn, who's also come in from Baylor.
And that's good one-on-one defense right there by Nunn.
Just 5 to shoot. Baylor takes it out on the baseline. Robinson, 3, down to 2. Off the right side, an Omier rebound. He clears it. He's on the run. Edgecombe gives it back to him. Now he's got White defending him here. Ude up top with Celestine. Some help defense there from Winslow helps create a steal.
Spacing by Baylor was bad on offense.
Winslow.
Somebody has to cut.
A short 3 and a quick shot there from Brendan Winslow.
Watch the spacing for Baylor right now in this possession. Last possession, it was extremely bad. Let's take a look back. Because when Omier catches the ball in the post, somebody has to cut. But now 3 are on top of each other, and it's making it extremely easy for the 2 defenders on the backside to be able to guard 3. And by the time that Celestine finally moves, Omier turns the ball over. Somebody has to cut to put pressure on the 2 backside defenders.
A stop play as Edgecombe was behind the play with Baylor going up the floor, and Edgecombe went to the bench. Roach gets in the lane. Nunn uses that left-hand dribble. We're going to call that on Noah Reynolds.
Baylor early on in their offense, they are attacking closeouts and the guards are getting to the paint. You can tell this is something that they have worked on in practice the past few days, trying to drive closeouts, put pressure on the defense, and get to the paint.
So Reynolds will check out. Right looking in for Roach. Wanting to get it. Kravchich is checked in, but there's Jaden Nunn.
And that right there was a pretty finish. The up and under off the drive of the closeout. High level finish right there by Nunn.
See number 22 in white, Marino Dubravcic. Kravchich, who's gave him some valuable minutes, not a lot, but 6 minutes in their last game without John Muna. He's finding some time on the court.
Look at this right here. Bad closeout. The guards of Baylor do a really good job of driving it. And Jaden Nunn did an even better job of finishing right there.
Robert Wright picked up his first foul on that last call. Diallo was in for TCU. Thought that might have been for him. It's run down by Robinson. 7 to shoot. Floater from the baseline. That's short from Millette. 7-point lead in the ball for Baylor. Not even 7 minutes into the game. Right on the drive. Took the contact from Micah Robinson on a push. And he'll shoot 2.
Micah Robinson. That'll be his first personal foul, second team foul. Against the Horned Frogs.
Right, a 78% foul shooter on the year.
Got 2 shots.
Had 6 points and 8 assists in the first meeting with TCU. 8 assists, only 1 turnover in that game for the freshman.
He's been terrific. And the way that he's been playing his freshman season, I think he's exceeded expectations, Mark. I mean, I knew everybody said he was good, right? But I don't know if they knew that he would reach this level of heights, and with his consistency. I mean, the last 4 or 5, he hasn't been great, but I think that when he's at his best, he is really, really impressive.
It's a 7-0 run here for Baylor, and a stumbling Winslow gets fouled. Well, that's on Wright, so that's the one downside for Wright. That's number 2.
Let's take a look at this right here, because Winslow drives.
They called it on Wright from the backside.
Yeah, that's a close one. Looked like Winslow might have traveled right there. But that was a bad angle to really see what Brooks saw.
Wright staying in there with his 2 fouls for Baylor. Ouellette steps back. That three's on the way. Offensive rebound. Didn't hit the rim on that previous shot. Should that count? That's the question. And Doug Sermons is saying shot clock violation. So the first 2 shots from TCU in that sequence did not hit the rim. The third went in, but it was too late, and that's their 3rd turnover.
Let's see if this one touched it. It might have grazed it. No, it didn't graze it. Good awareness right there by the referees.
It was close to getting it off on time, but Brooks Wells stops play as Baylor wanted to make a substitution.
Looks like Langston Love was limping off the floor. We'll see what that means, but it looks like he was limping off the floor.
Yeah, that first sequence of the game when we saw him score down here, he was hobbling a little bit on the way back down the floor. Langston, who missed first 4 games of the season with an ankle injury, then missed another 8 games. An injury later. Ouellette bounce pass, punch! David Punch. That's stuff and an opportunity for a 3-point play.
This is how you run the lane if you are a big fella. When your big runs the way that Punch ran right here, you have to reward him. Good decision right there by Ouellette. And Punch just throws it down.
Which picked up the Baylor foul, his first. TCU had missed their last 6 shots prior to that flush there by David Punch. And Punch, who's been a 50% free throw shooter in this freshman year, rattled it home, and it's a 3-point play, 6-point game. Edgecombe looks to Scott Drew, who calls the play. Edgecombe stumbled from the right elbow, scores.
That right there is pretty off the ball screen. The snake right into the mid-range jumper, stop on a dime and knock it down. DJ Edgecombe showing his arsenal.
I guess the play called by Scott Drew was get the freshman in the lane and let him shoot. Punch stumbling, called for a travel.
Let's take a look at this last bucket by DJ Edgecombe. Look, the snake on the ball screen. One dribble right into it, over the taller defender and Punch. That's high level.
Roach chased by Ouellette. Celestine's come back in. Here's Edgecombe, 9 to shoot. Celestine, bounce pass, and threw it away. Now they're going to say it went off the leg of a TCU player, so it's going to stay with Baylor. Just under 5 seconds on the shot clock when we come back. 11:38 to play first half, and it's the Bears up by 8.
There are those who see the world through a different lens, who take risks, who are willing to make a stand. Because trails, they aren't blazed by the timid, but by the bold. For 150 years, TCU has been creating the next generation of leaders. To think audaciously, care compassionately, lead heroically. And now, it's our turn, our time to lead on.
Fans, Frog Ball is back at Lupton Stadium. The Frogs are ready for a new season with plenty of exciting games. With Southern Miss, Arizona State, Arizona, and many more teams coming to town this season, Lupton Stadium will be the place to be. With 29 home games, there are plenty of chances to see your Horned Frogs in action. So purchase your tickets today at gofrogs.com. Be part of the excitement and help bring the Lupton magic.
Lock in, TCU fans. It's time for Horned Frog Hoops. The fastest team in the country is back in action. Jamie Dixon and the Frogs are looking to run their way to a 4th straight NCAA tournament. You won't want to miss a second of the high-flying Frogs this season. Get your season tickets today at GoFrogs.com, and we'll see you soon at the show mile.
There are those who see the world through a different lens, who take risks, who are willing to make a stand. Because trails, they aren't blazed by the timid, but by the bold. For 150 years, TCU has been creating the next generation of leaders. To think audaciously, care compassionately, lead heroically. And now, it's our turn, our time to lead on.
There's a university where you can experience everything, from the stockyards to the stock exchange, from the Lone Star State to the global stage, where some of the happiest students in the nation embrace tradition, engage with excellence, and elevate the future. Only here. Share a class with 25, a stadium with 50,000, and a mascot with none. Where discovery meets community, integrity meets innovation, and Horned Frogs lead on for life. Only here, TCU.
Baylor currently up by 8, and partially due to this young man, DJ Edgecombe, and what he does on the pick and roll. Take a look right here. Norchad Omier goes and sets the ball screen. They switch it. Watch Punch's momentum. Punch's momentum is leaning to the right, and VJ Edgecombe's ability to be able to read his momentum, use it against him, get to the opposite side, snake the ball screen, and then go one dribble into his pull-up shows why NBA scouts have him so high on the draft board. His ability to make decisions in a pick and roll and his scoring ability has grown over the course of this season.
Yeah, he has scored or assisted on 10 of Baylor's 16 points to begin this game. By the way, Langston Love did walk back to the Baylor locker room during that timeout. If we get further word on his situation, we will let you know. Ouellette stops near the left elbow, fade away, off the heel. And a rebound by Posey keeps it alive for a Reynolds three. His second of the game.
And the last three, he's only shooting 21, but early on in this ball game, he's already hit 2. Getting him back comfortable scoring the basketball is something that TCU has to do.
Nunn looks for the screen from Omier. Hedging there. Uday, Roach with 4 to shoot, gets picked by Ouellette. Ouellette takes it the other way, 4 to flush.
And that's one thing you cannot do, Mark. With Ouellette's long arms and his wingspan, if you play with the basketball, he is so good at getting his hands on it, getting deflections, and getting out in transition.
Baylor led by as many as 9. That's been cut to 3. Omier passes out of the double. Nunn. Punch was there on the catch for Celesti. He dribbles down the left side and stopped there by Uday just in time. Edgecombe gets it off, and as Omier and Punch battle for it, they're going to get a foul. We're going to call that on Posey away from the ball, it appears. Well, they did say Punch, so that will be Punch's personal foul.
Let's take a look at this right here. You cannot play with the basketball. Ouellette is so good at getting his hands in there, getting deflections, and converting those into easy buckets.
Midway through the first half in Fort Worth. 3-point lead for Baylor. Robert Wright, high off the glass and in. Degree of difficulty on that one.
Mark, that's such a high-level finish.
Oh, and a steal. Well, TCU was wanting a foul there.
Look at this layup right here. This is so high level. To finish outside of the paint get the ball above the right circle over the 6'11" athletic Uday. High-level finish from a high-level guard.
Baylor was wanting the foul. It was TCU complaining they thought the ball went out of bounds off right, and it turns into a bucket for Baylor. And just like that, the lead shoots back up to 8. To that 3 by Edgecombe, he's got 8 points. That loses it. He's fortunate to roll right to Reynolds. And he has to put up a long 3 and gets bailed out. None foul, and Scott Drew exasperated there.
Let's look back at this play right here. Scott Drew was not running plays for VJ Edgecombe early on in the year, especially out of bounds for threes. But now he's shown that he can do that time and time again, and he has been extremely impressive in Big 12 play.
3 free throws for Reynolds. Hitting him at a 73% clip this year.
And that's just not a great foul right there by Jay Nunn. I mean, Reynolds has been struggling recently, and he's hit 2 earlier. But to get a good score like that now on the free throw line, so he can see the ball go in multiple times, now you're really starting to get him into his rhythm, and that could be something to watch moving forward.
Reynolds drains all 3. Jamie Dixon's team quickly cuts it down to 5. Reynolds and Punch, by the way, have hit 4 of 5 from the field. The rest of the TCU team 1 of 8. It was a bullet pass, and O'Meara fouled by Punch. Norchad's been a bit quiet here, has not officially had a shot attempt yet.
And that was a great find right there by Rob Wright. 2 go out off of the cross screen. And luckily, Punch was right there to save the day and get the foul. But that's the type of attention that VJ Edgecombe demands. Off of the cross screen, you have to send 2 because you're so worried about him knocking down the 3 that you leave O'Meara wide open.
Second foul against Punch. Team foul number 4 against TCU. So O'Meara on the board with his first point as Punch will take a seat. Norchad O'Meara's first 2 points of the game come from the line. If you're Baylor, King, I would assume you're pretty happy with your defenses. TCU's had to take some very tough shots.
Yeah, I mean, they've been active. They've been able to cause turnovers, force TCU into bad shots.
Ouellette there on the drive is able to get right on his hip, kiss it in.
And that's when he's at his best, being able to attack downhill. Ouellette, not a shooter, but an elite level driver. And if you allow him to get an angle, he can definitely finish.
Edgecombe, handoff. This is right now back up top. Here's VJ. He was going to try to lob that to O'Meara, but that was read and knocked all the way back into the backcourt. That's a 3 with 3 on the shot clock, missed by Nunn. Tipped by O'Meara to right, underneath and laid in by Jaden Nunn.
And once again, we see Rob Wright's ability to drop dimes. That is where he has grown the most. We know that he can score with the best of them, but his ability to be able to see the court differently than how we saw it early on is where he has improved the most this freshman season.
Reynolds hit a couple of 3s, misses that one. White saves it, gets it back from Uday and launches a 3. And TCU just 2 of 6 3-point shooting. Reaching around there, Uday able to knock that entry pass away from O'Meara. A lob, Uday this time. And Uday's first bucket of the game. That gets the Frogs crowd into this. Edgecombe, open 3, got it.
DJ Edgecombe getting his confidence back from deep. That's a great sign for Scott Drew and the Bears.
What a first half, 11 points, 3 of 4 3-point shooting. You see 4 of 5 overall from the floor. White, hand up there with none, tried behind the back, now goes up with the right hand, swish.
And White is somebody who has so much upside, so much potential. Just hasn't had a great year, but in the last 4, we're seeing a little bit of consistency from him in his play. And he can definitely do that, averaging 11 in the last 4. He's a more than capable scorer, one-on-one.
Yeah, White took his UNCW team to Rupp Arena and had a game high. Wow. Ouellette finishing.
I don't know if I have ever seen that in my life. Throwing the ball off somebody just to get it right back.
And timeout Baylor.
TCU climbing their way back in this ball game. Getting steals on one end, leading the easy offense. And then Ouellette right here. I don't know if he meant to do this, but nonetheless, it worked out in his favor. TCU down by 4.
Frankie, let's hear it one more time for Frankie Mullins. Now let's pass it over to Senior on the board. Thanks, Monty. Yes, y'all. It's time to have some fun. It's time for the Raging Pains ball hand jam. So if you see the camera on your face, go ahead and get loose, get jiggy, and follow your hand.
Now, we need to go back and look at this play with Ouellette. As you said, King, you'd never seen that. I had neither. I had to stop and process it while it happened. Wasn't sure what we actually saw. So roll it here. As you'll see Ouellette, they get the steal. And the question was he going out of bounds or was he already out of bounds here? As he's coming down, he gets it out of his hand just before he touches out of bounds. It goes off the defender, right. He comes back in play, establishes himself with 2 feet in bounds, grabs the ball, takes it to the rim, and lays it in. It's a legal play, and you can watch a lot of basketball in a lifetime and never see that play again.
I've never In my whole 28 years of living, Mark, which isn't very long, but I've never seen that play. But
I've got a few more than 28, and I've never seen that before. That just shows you instincts, because that decision's made in a fraction of a second.
Because it goes off of him, and in his head it's like, oh, snap, I can get the ball now.
And he knew he was falling out of bounds.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm not going to give him the possession here.
Yeah.
Let me try this. Now, if it hadn't worked out and he gave up a live ball turnover and it went the other way, it'd have been a whole other story, but it didn't play out that way. Really remarkable. Baylor with the rebounding edge. They're up 4. A lot of contact there on right. Let's see if that's Diallo's personal. That is the first on Diallo. Wright goes to the line for a second time tonight. Hit both earlier. Well, the 2025 Big 12 Gymnastics Championship takes place Saturday, March 22nd at the Maverick Center in West Valley, Utah. This year's event features 2 sessions. The afternoon session starts at 2 Eastern, 1 Central. And coverage right here on Big 12 on ESPN+. Then the evening session concludes the championship on ESPNU, and that starts at 7 Eastern, 6 Central time. 1-2 for Robert Wright. Let have in store now. I don't think he can top what he did a couple minutes ago, but it's worth watching. Zarian White. Ouellette through traffic just flips it high off the glass. Volleyballed around, and eventually it's Nunn who comes away with it. Edgecombe, Euro step, blocked away by Diallo.
That's a great backside block, but good job by White to slow him up.
White, 3, got it. We were talking about Trezarian White, how he went to Rupp Arena, Kentucky last year with UNC Wilmington and had a game-high 27 points, 10 rebounds, and they beat Kentucky in Rupp Arena. And he was the best player on the floor in that game.
Yeah, he's impressive. We know he can score with the best, but it's just a matter of him being comfortable under Jamie Dixon. I don't think we have fully seen that. Like I said, in the last 4 games, he has looked a lot more comfortable, and he's starting to buy into the defensive side and do the little things, which is allowing him to get more playing time.
Nunn did not get it off in time anyway. And it's a Baylor shot clock violation. And their 7th turnover of the first half.
And look at this. Ouellette with the cross-court heads-up play. Trezarian White confidently catches it. Hand in the face and all. Knocks it down.
Each of the 7 turnovers for Baylor, they average about 11 a game, so that's a bit of a high total at this point for the Bears. Michael Robinson, the freshman of the game. Spinning, shooting, left it short, able to get it back. Collides with Omier, now Diallo lays it in. Wow, the contact down low, they played on and eventually get a bucket from Diallo. A 9-1 run for TCU has tied it up. Celestine feeding Omier. Boy, was that a pretty play.
It's a great high-low right there. Celestine realizing Omier's wide open. Great decision right there. Great find.
Quiets this Frogs crowd just as they were getting going. Reynolds spins with that left hand. He's a natural left hand. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2. And that's going to take us to the end of the 4th timeout with 2:50 to play in the half.
We're seeing it getting done on the inside. TCU crashing the offensive glass. Diallo following it up, not giving up on the play. Able to put it in on the flip side. Celestine with the dime, putting on his goggles. Mark, we got ourselves a ball game. Woo.
The 2025 Phillips 66 Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship features a new format. It includes all 16 teams. It starts tomorrow, Wednesday, March 5th. And for the second consecutive season, all games played in Kansas City's T-Mobile Center. Select games, including the Big 12 Championship game, broadcast on the ESPN family of networks. And during this last break, the TCU women, sporting the regular season Big 12 trophy, came out. And they do not play tomorrow, so they have a bye. That probably stings Baylor a bit because they beat the Baylor women here to take that regular season crown over the weekend.
Yeah, that was a high-level game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one. That was a high-level game.
So TCU women, the 1 seed, Baylor, the 2 seed. Reynolds shooting a pair here out of the timeout. Oh, now with 10 points here in the first half to lead TCU in scoring. Jamie Dixon's played 9 players, 6 different scores, and both free throws ties this game at 31. The only lead that TCU's had tonight came early in the game at 3-2. Got a grab on Trezarian White. First one on Trey. Faces up on Diallo, goes towards the rim, draws the contact, and another whistle.
They like that matchup. Scott Drew intentionally sought that out. They saw Diallo, not a lot of experience, so you ISO O'Meara on the elbow, and good things happen.
And that immediately gets Uday off the bench to the scores table. Second foul on Malik Diallo after this first free throw Coming from Omir, Uday will be back in along with Alette.
Uday returning for TCU.
Four points from the line for Omir of his 6 total. He was the D1 active leader in points and rebounds. Double doubles, I should say.
That's impressive, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, every single place he's been, he has been able to produce.
Which includes Arkansas State and Miami of Florida. Reynolds, who's turned, shoots, and scores again. He's been their reliable shooter in this half now with 13 points.
And that's great patience by TCU on the offensive side. Swing the ball, get the defense, get the zone in rotations, and find a way to get it to the middle, get your guard in the middle to knock down that mid-range jumper.
Under 2 minutes to play in this first half. Baylor led by as many as 9 early on. Omir turns, baseline. Batted around to Uday, his outlet for Micah Robinson. In stride, White to the rim, scores. He had a head of steam right down the middle of the lane.
And Trezarian White showing us who he was last year. And he can be that person for this TCU team.
2-point lead for the Frogs, their largest of the game. Edgecombe. Offensive foul. They're calling Omir on the moving screen.
Let's take a look at this. Because from our angle, it was a little bit tough to see. But they love running this pin down for BJ Edgecombe. And Omir did move. That is the right call. It would have been a bucket because he made the shot, but that was the right call. You have to be stationary on that screen.
That's 2 on Omir. Wright and Nunn also have 2 fouls for Baylor in this first half. Edgecombe diving into his own bench, trying to come up with that.
And that was a great defensive play right there by Edgecombe to be able to play 2. He gets the tip on the ball. Look at this right here. He closes out, but he puts his arm in the passing lane to take away that pass. And that's a charge on the bench. 100%.
Tell you what. Look out, Melvin Hunt. He was right in the way there. One of the assistants for Scott Drew. Reynolds looked around and said, if you're not going to guard me, I'm going to shoot it, but he missed it that time. Edgecombe from the corner. Able to get his own miss. Another 3. That one off the mark from Roach. Another offensive rebound.
Man, look at the pursuit of the basketball.
Third opportunity. Robert Wright lays it in. Timeout. Jamie Dixon saying to Doug Summers, I didn't really call timeout.
They have to go right back, Mark, because the pursuit of the basketball, the way that Baylor relentlessly attacked the ball in the air. Look at this. Roach tries to go fast to get the 2-1 potentially. But look at this. Omir, Celestine, the effort, keeping the plays alive. BJ getting the ball. And then Rob Wright on the drive. Nobody steps up, but that is the way you want your team to crash the glass offensively. And that's what TCU did to Baylor in the first matchup.
And you see each team with 6 offensive rebounds. That first matchup in January down in Waco, TCU used only a 7-man rotation, but it was Baylor that really led for the majority of that game, almost 32 minutes. But a 3-point win for TCU in the end. And it's weird, this matchup between these schools, it's been the road team over the last few years that has done all the damage. You look at the head-to-head, I mean, Baylor has won, the last 4 here in Fort Worth, and TCU's won the last 3. Remember the 3 overtime games at Baylor in the new Foster Pavilion last year that TCU won in Waco. It's been the road team that's had the advantage in this series over the last handful of years. TCU can hold it for the final shot of the half. And with 8 to shoot, puts it up, and now it's Baylor that's going to have an opportunity to get the final shot. With 3 with 2, now they give it up. And from half court, Reynolds off the right side. Not exactly how we thought that last sequence was going to go when TCU took it out of the timeout, but we are tied at 35 at the half. From the corner, 3. Celestine off the mark. Baylor led by as many as 9 in the first half. Baylor's largest lead was 2, and that came with a minute and a half to go in the first half. Celestine took a bump there from Punch. Edgecombe in the air, just fired it up off the glass. Turned into a good pass for O'Meara off the glass. And puts it in.
The up and under finish right there by O'Meara. That's tough, and a good sign for Baylor. Langston Love is back on the floor. It was a lower leg injury earlier, but he seems to be doing fine.
Yeah, right leg injury. We were told during the half he was questionable to come back, so he is, as you see in there. Posey. TCU looking for some more second chance points here. Ouellette gives it to Punch, floats it up, in and out. And another offensive rebound for Uday. 3, Reynolds. O'Meara touched it last, but it's Posey chasing it into the corner, and it's going to be Baylor ball, but Edgecombe hunched over. He's shaken up. I think he took a shot to the face. He's kind of holding his right side of his head. There's VJ. He's coming off the floor. Scott Drew, as he gets close, says, well, what happened? Edgecombe to the bench to try to shake that off. Rice tried to throw a pass. Uday deflected it.
And it was open, Mark, but he was a second too late.
It's a catch and shoot 3 for Trey White. Long rebound, Uday.
Uday so far, 2 offensive rebounds in the first 2 minutes of the second half.
Ouellette took a bump, and he'll shoot 2. First foul is on Celestine. It's his first. Edgecombe coming right back to the scorer's table. Check back in. Ouellette, who had the play of the first half, keeping a possession alive while falling out of bounds, throwing it off a defender, getting it back and scoring. That was one for the ages. Edgecombe's going to take Celestine's spot. He's still kind of on that right side of his face. That splits the pair. And 2 minutes gone here in the second half, a 1-point game. Love on the drive. Blocked by Punch, and while falling out of bounds, they say it's TCU ball.
And you can tell right there, Mark, he just didn't have the level of explosion that he typically has, because typically he's able to get a little bit of a blow by an angle and finish that, but Punch showing his defensive versatility to be able to sit down in front of a guard and get the block and meet it at its highest point.
They called a foul on Love. TCU now with 3 blocks in this game. Punch. Dribbles into a crowd. Edgecombe grabs it and he ties it up. Possession arrow keeps it with TCU.
And that was a good double right there by Edgecombe. Punch definitely had the one-on-one matchup, the advantage over Rob Wright. But as soon as you turn your back, BJ Edgecombe did a really good job pursuing the basketball and getting that tie up.
Six to shoot. Alette spins, turns, but there is O'Meara. The ball bounced around the rim and Brooks Wells, he's calling what, the basket interference there on the offense. So it's Baylor ball.
Jamie Dixon not too thrilled with that one.
O'Meara's pass goes right to Alette. He races ahead, kicks it to White. Baseline two. Another offensive board for Ernest Uday. Reynolds three. Ernest Uday has 5 rebounds. 4 of those 5 have been on the offensive glass.
His energy, when you talk to TCU, when you talk to their coaching staff, he says this team thrives and they go as Ernest Uday goes.
Robert Wright just threaded his way into the lane. He gets the easy shot and score. That answers and ties it up for Baylor. Punch, one dribble, picks it up. Alette looking to back down Love. It's White with 7 to shoot. Uses the ball fake to drive to the rim, but too strong. Out of bounds, staying with TCU with 3.7 seconds left on the clock when we come back.
Look at this, good steal by Alette. How many times have we talked about his defensive presence? And good defense leads to easy offense. And when you got a guy like Uday and Reynolds.
I'm Justin Willman. Sorry. As a magician, it's my job to make you believe that what you're seeing is real. Hey, do you want to see something cool? Sure. What the? How'd you do that? That's amazing. Or is it just an illusion? Only one way to find out. Try it for yourself.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this.
Well, Baylor big man Norchad O'Meara has 3 turnovers in this game, and King, there is a common thread in all 3 of those turnovers.
The passing out of the post when TCU sends a double. Let's take a look right here. We emphasized earlier, Baylor spacing on the backside. As soon as Omier catches the ball, there's 3 on the backside. 2 are being guarded by 3. You see Reynolds slide over. Somebody has to cut. If somebody cuts, it frees up the lane. But because of the backside and how stagnant it is, now Omier has nowhere to go with the basketball. And as a result, it's caused him to turn it over 3 times.
And we could have shown the other 2, but they basically look almost exactly like
they were the exact same play 3 times, and that's all of his turnovers.
And we're tied at 39, just over 4 minutes into the second half, with these 2 teams each at 9-9 in conference play. And game 19 of the 20-game regular season, in and out on the 3 attempt by Reynolds. No second chance opportunity this time for the Frogs. Edgecombe skip. Wright kicks it back. Edgecombe couldn't quite get the handle on the pass and loses it out of bounds.
You know, one thing, Mark, Uday does a really good job and doesn't get enough credit for his ball screen defense. The way that he hedges ball screens. The roller is always open, but the guards of Baylor cannot see it because of the activity and the pressure that Uday puts on the basketball.
See the 12 turnovers for Baylor. They average 11.4 a game, so they've exceeded that here just 5 minutes into the second half. Punch open for a moment. Edgecombe comes over and is there to take the charge.
That's a great call right there. BJ Edgecombe. Typically when a big puts the ball on the floor and a guard gets in front of him, you're always going to get this call if you're the guard. Smaller man always wins. But BJ Edgecombe gets to the spot, takes it with his chest, and gets the offensive foul.
Said like a guard, smaller man always wins.
Smaller man always wins. See, the bad thing about that, Mark, is that when it's 2 guards that are even size, right, then they go by weight. So I was always on the bad end of it. If I drove and the guy beat me to the spot, because I was a little bit stronger, it was always a charge. And Coach Drew used to hate that.
Underneath, Omier somehow came down with it, goes back up, and it stays in. That time determined to get it in the bucket.
And you know, that's a word we can throw out a lot with this young man. Determined every single possession he plays on this court.
That gives him 10 points, by the way, for Omier. So he now has 12 consecutive double-figure scoring games, and it's his 26th on the season. Winslow flips it up, too strong. Omier a rebound. That is his 8th board, so he's nearing a double-double, and he's got a bunch of those. And quick answer by the Bears. Timeout, Jamie Dixon. Baylor is squeezed out a 4-point lead here.
Oh, man. You talk about determination. Omier's just a grown man. And there's nothing you can do about it.
The 2025 Big 12 Wrestling Championship takes place Saturday, March 8th this weekend, Sunday, March 9th as well from the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can catch all the action on the mat through the semifinals exclusively here on Big 12 on ESPN+. And then the championship concludes with the finals on Sunday, March 9th at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time on ESPNU. Great time of year with the wrestling title. Always fun.
Mark, would you believe me if I told you I could wrestle?
I'd buy that.
No, you'd be wrong.
I would be wrong? You just, on our last segment, you're talking about your weight and all that other stuff. I thought you were setting me up. like you had a weight class and everything ready to wrestle.
The closest thing I've ever done to wrestle is play WWE on a video game.
I thought you were going to say it was a loose ball against one of your Big 12 opponents.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that too.
Well, TCU's just 1 of 10 from the field to start this second half, and a 6-0 run here for the Bears, who've hit their last 3 shots. And a 4-point lead for Baylor.
Langston Love returning for the Bears.
Langston Love back on the floor for Baylor. Baylor zone keeps the ball on the perimeter. Diallo had it knocked free, but able to get it back with 6 to shoot. Diallo dribbles, it's down to 3. White's going to be the one to put it up. He gets it off in time. And a long outlet pass to Roach. Edgecombe. Amir bats it back out. VJ finds Roach. Jeremy in the lane. Off for Edgecombe, and it crashes into Wenzel on a whistle and a foul.
Omir's just so good at keeping the ball alive on offensive rebounds. His ability to be able to tap the ball and not necessarily grab the board every single time, but find ways to where if he can't secure the rebound, to keep it alive, is as good as anybody we've seen this season.
So it'll put VJ at the line. First trip to the line for him tonight. 77% on the year, and knocks down the first. Well, the Baylor Bears have won the last 4 here in Fort Worth. TCU has won the last 3 in Waco, so it's been the road team that's had the success in the matchup between these schools in recent years. One and 2 for Edgecombe. But TCU's 14-2 at home this year. Only losses to Utah and Kansas. Micah Robinson elevates.
And that just shows the maturity of Alette. Early on in the season, he was getting to the paint and shooting that, Mark. Right there. Sees Robinson fly in. Good dime, good pass.
First bucket for Micah Robinson, who had missed his first 3 shots. And that attempt, he was not going to miss. Roach gets in the lane. Rainbow in and out. A White rebound. Let's see what Alette has in mind this time. Back to Vachon. Now Diallo has the height advantage here on Roach. Robinson with Diallo right in his face. 4 to shoot. Alette lost the handle. It's a race, and VJ's going to win it with the stuff. $16 points for VJ Edgecombe, equaling Reynolds for the game-high scoring at the moment. And they're going to stop it. We're going to come to our under 12 timeout.
VJ Edgecombe getting the stop, getting steals. And when you play defense the way that he does, and you can fly the way he flies, that's how you go top 5 in the draft. Hell yeah.
No, thank you so much for what you do.
Man, I'm going to the highest bidder. I was talking to my parents about this earlier. I was like, if you say anything about $500,000, I'll go to freaking College of Charleston. It doesn't matter.
Hey, some years are not too bad. They go to the tournament occasionally.
Look,
yeah, Charleston.
It does not matter to me. $500,000 is life-changing money, man. Oh, 100%. I'll go buy me a whole bunch of jackets, a whole bunch of heating systems, and I'm gonna go live my life in North Dakota.
At least for 6 months.
At least for 6-7 months. Then go again to the highest bidder, hopefully somewhere warmer, and repeat the cycle.
Then you go to South Dakota. It's a little bit warmer.
Hey, I want to say, maybe I'm tripping, but I want to say I saw Rico Gathers here.
Really? He's hard to miss.
Which is interesting because we talk about the greatest rebounders in Baylor history. We could, if I can find him, we could ID him and talk about how he was, Norchad's a better version of him. But I can't find him, so maybe not.
That reminds me, Sonny Dykes has been sitting across from us the entire game, the TCU football coach. Five-point lead for Baylor with 11:57 to go in Fort Worth tonight, and each team has a 16-point scorer right now. One's a freshman, one's a senior.
E.J. Edgecombe and Noel Reynolds, two guys who have to have big nights, and two guys who have been struggling in the last few games, getting their rhythm back and figuring out ways to get it done and to help their team. But they have to get going from this point forward, especially with TCU trying to climb their way into the tournament and Baylor trying to continuously stay in the tournament. Both of these young men have to finish this game off strong.
And Joe Lenardi has TCU as under consideration, which means you're double out on the 4 out. And he says Baylor needs another win to definitely secure their spot in the NCAA tournament. Nice play by Wright to tip that away, and quickly it's down the floor to Edgecombe. Lined up, none. Here's Reynolds. Millette kicks to the corner. That three is up and short for Micah Robinson. Going after his own miss. And Doug Sermons has a foul. It's on Edgecombe.
Another offensive rebound by TCU. They have 12, and let's see who this goes out on. Ooh, that went on Robinson.
But he called the foul on Edgecombe.
Yeah, called the foul on Edgecombe.
Yeah, if it were not for the foul, that would have been Baylor ball.
For sure.
First on Edgecombe. He still kind of played his case, but nonetheless, TCU going to the line for two. Now he just picked up his second foul.
With 2 shots.
So he went the first 28 plus minutes of the game without a foul, and he's picked up 2 in about an 8-second span. First free throws of the game for Micah Robinson. Freshman from Kansas City. That's a rebound for O'Meara. That's his 10th, so that gives him a double-double, which is pretty much just routine. 18th of the season, 86th of his career, which is number 5 in NCAA history.
Chase Posey returning for TCU.
The double-double machine didn't get off to the greatest start tonight, but he's risen back to the mean.
He just finds ways.
Yeah.
Relentless.
Neither team shooting the 3 ball very well here in the second half.
Foul against TCU, man, number 3, Sean Allett. That'll be his first personal foul.
Allett got in the cylinder. That's a foul on him, and that's his first. Now TCU, really with that non-conference schedule, that doesn't help them at all, even though they're 500 in the Big 12, which normally 500 in the Big 12 is going to get you in the NCAA tournament. Right stopped, he's doubled. Omier 3, good. That's his 17th made 3 of the season.
Recently has not been shooting it great from deep. He really hasn't even been back there to shoot it from deep, but he's more than capable.
Robinson around and out. Here's Baylor with the ball and a 7-point lead as we come up on the midway point of the second half. He's going to try it again and hits another. Who thought Norchan Omier was going to hit 3s on back-to-back trips down the floor, and boom, it's a double-digit lead for Baylor, their largest of the game.
And the pick and pop has been working. Uday drops, Reynolds has to be able to step up. But because Jaden Nunn ran through, nobody was on the backside to tag. And same thing, you have to step up because he hit the first one. And he's definitely a rhythm shooter.
It's his 3rd game of the season with multiple 3-pointers, made 3-pointers. And he hit him in about a 20-second span, both of them.
And that's what happens because Uday is so aggressive. They're used to the roll and tagging from a different angle. But when you have a big that can pick and pop, and not necessarily saying that Omier is a pick and pop big, but when you have a big that can knock it down from deep and he pops, the angle of your tag on the backside changes. And if you're not prepared, you have wide open 3s.
For the record, 2 3s in a 31-second span, to be precise. Definitely didn't have that on the bingo card here in the second half. Now TCU desperately needing a bucket, trying to get the offense going here. They're 1 for their last 8 from the field. They haven't had a field goal in over 3 minutes.
And this is where I think Reynolds needs to be aggressive. He has to look to score and look to attack.
Posey, it's going to be tied up, and this time possession arrow Baylor.
And Jamie Dixon is upset because he tried to call timeout. He thought he got it before the tie-up, but the referee clearly didn't hear him.
Well, there was a time earlier in the game when he didn't call a timeout and got one. This time he wanted one and didn't get it. Omier, this time defended out there by Uday. It's a catch and shoot 3 for Love. It's off the mark. Reynolds going to let it go out of bounds, and it's TCU ball.
And that was a good find right there by Omier. However, he threw it a little high, which threw Langston Love off of his rhythm. Had the ball been into his pocket, it would have been a good shot, a good corner 3 right there by Love. But because of the high pass, it threw Love off, which caused the air ball.
Reynolds is open for a 3. A tad long, but another offensive rebound for Uday allows Posey to knock down the 3 from the left corner.
And Posey is not known as a 3-point shooter, but he's definitely respectable. You have to at least put a hand up. Baylor right there, short closeout towards him. Didn't necessarily put a hand up. They're living with that shot. But now that he's hit one, you have to make a slight adjustment.
6 rebounds for Uday. 5 of those are offensive rebounds. Well, trouble along the sideline right, able to use the dribble. A floater swatted away by Uday.
This is a good move by Rob Wright, but an even better block by Uday.
4th block for the team. And for Uday, his team leading 36 of the season. Ouellette from the right corner. Tied up. Posey in the middle of things once again. 15 offensive boards now for TCU.
Jeremy Roach. 2nd personal foul. 5th team foul against the Bears.
Quick ball movement, baseline. White. Met there by O'Meara. Under 8 minutes to go. Spin move by Reynolds goes to that left hand and rolls off the rim. Edgecombe on the run out. He has Roach on the near side. Underneath for O'Meara. Uday got a hand on that, but they get it back in the driving lane for Jeremy Roach. Uday hobbling as he comes up the floor. Sets a screen on Roach. Ouellette gets in the lane as a result, just fires it up and it kicks off the right side.
And not necessarily a great possession right there by Ouellette. A 4th shot with only about 3 or 4 seconds off of the shot clock.
Right, content to eat some time here. Celestine feeds Edgecombe. VJ fadeaway. Good.
That's tough right there. The turnaround fade, the elevation on the jumper. Once again, a high-level shot from VJ Edgecombe.
See, TCU has gone cold from the field. Posey met by O'Meara. And we come to the timeout with 6:43 to play.
VJ Edgecombe, one-on-one. The elevation, the bucket. This young man is good.
through in season 22 in Waco as a head coach, and his coaching tree is an impressive one, including the two at the top of the list who he has to compete against now in the Big 12, including Jerome Tang, who Baylor beat K-State in Waco, and Scott Drew addressed Tang's team in the locker room after the game, and K-State from there won 6 in a row immediately after that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this coaching tree, I had the opportunity and the pleasure to play for everybody except Driscoll. And I think one thing that makes his assistants so successful is that Scott Drew allows his assistants a voice in practice. A lot of times when you go to other programs, it's the head coach's voice, and that's really all you hear. But Scott Drew does a tremendous job of allowing his assistants to be able to run scouts, to be able to run practices, and to be able to have a voice.
So Jerome Tang, in his first year at K-State, won Big 12 Coach of the Year, won National Coach of the Year as well. Does Grant McCaslin have a chance this year to win that award, or is it going to be perhaps Kelvin's for a second straight year?
That's actually a really great question. I mean, everybody expected Houston to be good, but nobody expected Texas Tech to reach the heights in which they reached this year. So I think it'd have to be between McCaslin, Sampson, or sneaky, throw Kevin Young in there as well.
Absolutely, with the way BYU's played. Well, TCU desperately needed that 3 and pull it down to 8. There's still plenty of time left, over 6 minutes.
And it starts on the defensive side for TCU. You have to be able to get it done on that side.
Long from Edgecombe, a white board. Deflected out of bounds, staying with TCU. O'Meara going to come back in. As Baylor got a little bit of time there from Dubracic.
And on the offensive side for TCU, once again, Reynolds has to be aggressive now. Look for them to play through Reynolds or White. Those two guys have to be extremely aggressive on the offensive side.
Here's punch. Tipped around into the arms. Jeremy Roach. Wants to go to work with now 8 on the shot clock. Edgecombe feeding O'Meara. He's doubled. Trying to get it over that double team, but was too long with the shot. Reynolds in a crowd. Finds a streaking Trevarius White. Rosarian slams it home.
And that's just a great cut right there by White. Good find by Reynolds. Better cut right there by White.
TCU with an answer of their own has cut it down to 6 and a timeout for Scott Drew and Baylor with just a tad over 5 minutes to go.
Let's go back and look at this last flush. Reynolds does a good job pushing the pace. You never help save same side corner. As soon as you turn your head and you can't see where the offensive player is, White does a good job cutting back door because he sees that Edgecombe can no longer see him. They need more plays like that, where you are intentional and you're delivered on the offensive side. You can get to your spots, be under control, and make the right pass, make the right play to your teammate.
Baylor had just opened up their largest lead of the game at 56-45, so a 5-0 run here for TCU. A team that has played really well at home this year, 14-2 on the year, and 7-2 in Big 12 play. Those only 2 losses at home came to Utah and Kansas. And see how much better they are at home than on the road in the conference. Baylor, though, trying to win here in Fort Worth for the 5th consecutive year. Now the double team caused Wright to quickly get rid of it, and Edgecombe never had the pass. And Baylor now a scoring drought for them, about a little over 2 minutes.
And Mark, I think that is where Rob Wright will be able to take his game to the next level. When on that play, he's able to see the lob pass was wide open to O'Meara. but Diallo did a really good job of putting pressure on the basketball. But when Rob Wright can start seeing that lob pass off the rescreen ball screen, that's when he gets to the next level.
Baylor's 4th turnover of the half, 13th of the game. Reynolds, ball fake. O'Meara let him go past and missed the shot. White kicks to the corner, 3. Missed by Love. I should say offensive rebound by Love after the miss by Roach. You can't get that in the lane.
And Baylor might want to get Langston Love off the court right now.
He's hobbling again.
He's hobbling. He just limped off that when he got the rebound. They might want to get him off the court immediately.
Yeah, Brooks Wells has stopped it. Kip Kissinger. No, Langston Love tore his ACL in a preseason scrimmage back in 2021. Missed the entire season. And issues he's had this year. Frustrating for Langston Love. A piece that when he is healthy and in the lineup for Baylor makes a significant contribution.
100% because of the versatility in his game. He can rebound the basketball. He can play multiple positions. He can get it off the bounce. He can knock it down off the dribble. I mean, he does so many good things for Baylor. They need him to be 100%.
Punch trying to get to the rim. He is stopped but fouled. And for O'Meara, that's his 4th, and it comes with 3:52 to go. So another timeout. 6-point game. Baylor with the lead. TCU has done, especially in conference play, is win the close games. 9-1 overall. Games decided by 5 points or fewer, but 7-0 in Big 12 play. And it's a 6-point game right now in favor of Baylor with under 4 minutes to go.
This one is going to come down to the wire, Markin. This is Big 12 basketball at its finest.
Well, when Love came out, Noah Reynolds of TCU also came out. He apparently was cramping up.
Yeah, I've been there. Pickle shots. Pickle shots of mustard. We used to have this little packet called the Right Stuff. It was the worst thing I ever tried in my life.
But it's quick and effective?
It is quick and effective. It works. You take 2 of them, you're back in good standings but it is horrible. Terrible.
Not exactly a ringing endorsement, but you've made your point.
It works. It's effective.
Punches at the line. Baylor hasn't scored in a little over 3 minutes. They've missed their last 4 from the field. Hit them both. 7-0 run for TCU. Big game for both teams. TCU trying to get their tournament resume look a little better, and for Baylor, according to Lenardi, they need another win to make sure they're 100% locked in the NCAA tournament. Right off the front rim, an Edgecombe rebound. Boy, the offensive rebounding really for both teams tonight has been very effective. Now we get a whistle from Doug Sermons. A foul on Ouellette, it appears. His second.
And I think right now, Mark, for Baylor, when you're in this scoring drought, you have to look for VJ Edgecombe. He's been terrific all night, or you can just make it easy and get the back screen slip.
Omier, 16 points, a dozen rebounds, playing with 4 fouls. Make that 18 and 12. Off the heel, Ude. He had the offensive rebound for a moment, it just got ripped right away. And that's big for Baylor. Not looking at Omier. Edgecombe now with 6 on the shot clock. BJ nearly lost the dribble, turns back for Love, has to put it up with the shot clock winding down. Love is back in the game. Ouellette. Timeout, Jamie Dixon and TCU.
That's a really good timeout. That's a really good timeout because their offense was going nowhere on that possession. Extremely stagnant. And Jamie Dixon wants to talk about it, draw something up. And I wouldn't be surprised if he inserts Reynolds into the basketball game right now if he's healthy to go.
Well, the 2025 Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship will feature all 16 teams. It starts a week from today, Tuesday, March 11th from Kansas City's T-Mobile Center. First round action airs exclusively here on Big 12 on ESPN+. And then starting with the quarterfinals, every game will be broadcast on the ESPN family of networks, while all games will be aired or simulcast here on ESPN+. All starts a week from tonight. TCU just burned their last timeout. Baylor has 1 left. Our game reset. Possession arrow favoring Baylor. TCU right now in the bonus. And 17 fouls against Baylor. TCU still has some fouls to give. Only 4 so far here in the half.
And I think that goes to show how important this possession is and how important that Jamie Dixon specifically thought this possession was. 2:32 to burn your last timeout. Just to be able to get a good offensive possession is huge. Let's see what he draws up right now, because if done right, you have a chance to cut this into a single possession game.
And it gets Noah Reynolds back in the game now as he comes back for TCU. Doug Sermons and Jamie talking. So 17 on the shot clock as it's into Ouellette. Ouellette almost traveled and just flipped it up. White was thinking maybe it was a lob, but it went in. And TCU gets a big bucket.
And that's a high-level finish right there. I mean, the slow step into a nice floater. Ouellette not scared of the moment.
Edgecombe tonight has 18, as does O'Meara. And there's Punch blocking away the shot attempt from Robert Wright.
And Punch is so good. His timing for a freshman is just so high level. But you want to talk about high level, Mark. This right here, the bucket. Good shot.
Under 2 minutes to go. Led on right. Right with that right hand. Tipped around by O'Meara. Uday rips down the rebound. Fires it. And the outlet from Reynolds. Another big possession for the Frogs. Ouellette wants to take it to the rim. Slings it up. It's out of bounds. Off Baylor.
You can tell in moments like this, Ouellette is trying to be aggressive. Might have got away with the left hand. Offhand, little push off right there. But Ouellette's not afraid of the moment.
Inbound a punch, and he was right underneath the bucket. And Baylor has to follow him to avoid an easy lay-in.
And right there, if you're in a zone, the one thing that cannot happen is this is just too easy. Norchad O'Meara gets caught sleeping, not really paying attention. Langston Love on the weak side, same thing. That's just way too easy to allow a guy to slip to the rim and put him on the free throw line for 2 shots.
Freshman now 4-4 from the line tonight. Love out. Celestine checks in for Scott Drew. Getting an explanation from Doug Sermons. Well, this is a 2-point game. Big possession for the Bears, who haven't scored in over 2 minutes and have only scored on 1 of their last 7 possessions. Wright bumps into Ouellette and a foul.
And that's the right call. We've seen this multiple times. Rob Wright's ability one-on-one to be able to get lower than the defender causes Ouellette to put his hands in there. And Rob Wright does a really good job attacking you, opening up your hip, and if you don't open it up.
Third on Ouellette, and if you're TCU, how frustrating is that game? Because the shot clock was at 6. It didn't look like that possession was going anywhere.
But that's the pressure that Rob Wright puts on you. Do not be surprised if we see it again.
Coming up on a minute to go.
1 minute. Under 1 minute.
Edgecombe from just inside the paint. White skied for the rebound. TCU down 2. 50 seconds to go. White looking. Reynolds. Reynolds penetrates. Lob. Can't finish. Punch. O'Meara has it. And he stepped on the baseline. TCU will get the ball back. O'Meara got rid of it quickly, but official Brooks Wells was right there and blew the whistle and said he was on the baseline.
Yeah, foot on the line, right foot on the line.
Great look from our crew. That right foot, no doubt about it. Baylor's going to burn their last timeout, so neither team has a timeout remaining. Well, remember the first meeting between these teams in Waco, Baylor led for 32 minutes, but TCU came on at the end and won by 3. Baylor's led for even longer in this game. The only lead for TCU, they were up 2 at one point, and that was fairly early here in this second half. The Baylor offense has gone cold here at the end.
Credit to TCU, their ability to switch on the ball screen and have guys like Punch, have Uday be able to stay in front of the basketball. And if they do get blown by, the backside help of TCU has been so much better. But right now, Mark, if you're Jamie Dixon, 20 seconds to go, 34.9, 35 on the clock. Don't be surprised if Baylor goes into this zone. However, getting the ball into the paint, being able to set the ball screen, get downhill and within the zone, and have cutters from the corner get towards the rim. That's been the answer to success. That's been what has worked for them on offense against this zone. So let's see what they draw up out of a timeout. And let's see what defense that Scott Drew comes out in.
Obviously, Scott Drew calling a timeout for his defense, but giving TCU an opportunity to dial up what they want to do offensively here because they don't have a timeout.
Well, if you notice, the last time they took the ball underneath out of bounds, they gave up the slip to punch. So that's why Scott Drew called that timeout, because he didn't want to give anything up like he did the last possession underneath out of bounds.
Comes in to punch.
And Baylor goes to man. Jamie Dixon probably expected him to go into the zone. So they go to man to kind of mess with them.
White in the lane, floater. We are tied. Now Baylor, no timeouts, can hold it for the final shot of regulation.
And Jamie Dixon is telling him to foul, because they have something to give.
Not doing it, down to 10. There's a foul with 8.5.
Jamie Dixon playing that the whole time that Robert Wright had the basketball, bringing it up. He was telling his team to foul when it gets under 10.
Now, though, that's the fourth on Ouellette. If you do go to overtime here, you just put one of your best scorers in deep jeopardy.
But it also took Baylor out of their rhythm, and now they have to go into their bag to have another play, because I know Scott Drew during that timeout drew up something, and it takes you out of what he drew up initially.
No more fouls to give. Comes down to this. Here's Wright, 2 seconds. One, but we get a foul on a push. And that is team foul number 7. Number 5. Number 7. Ouellette is out. So he just fouled out, and it's going to put Wright at the line with 2.2 left.
And that is the right call by the referee. We talked about it earlier. Rob Wright's ability to be able to go north and south, his ability to be able to tap downhill and put pressure to draw fouls is elite.
And Wright gives Baylor the lead.
One-on-one, Rob Wright is so hard to guard. And that has happened 3 times, Mark, tonight. 3 times, Rob Wright, one-on-one on the island, has been able to put pressure on Ouellette and cause Ouellette to foul 3 times.
And that last one, the biggest, putting it at the line with a chance to possibly win the game. Hits both. No timeouts. TCU's got to go. Long baseball pass. Deflected, going out of bounds. Still with TCU with 0.6 left. I imagine they're going to come to the monitor to take a look to see just exactly if the time is correct.
The call on the floor is out of bounds off Baylor. TCU basketball, that play is under review.
Hey, let me play devil's advocate here, King. Before the first sequence started with the game tied at 58, and Baylor takes the ball down, they had a foul to give. And Ouellette took his 4th foul. Why not just wait and give that foul when they get in the lane, or there's a chance to score when you had a foul to give? Now, there's the chance that they're going to go up and try a shot, but it wound up anyway with them at the line.
Well, initially, I mean, you wanted to foul. It was a smart thing to foul to get you out of your rhythm, because typically in situations like that, you know, teams come down, they're able to get into their set real quick because Scott drew up something to say, hey, if they score, this is what we're getting into initially. So you want to foul. However, you would want somebody else outside of Ouellette to foul, because if it had been anybody else, then Ouellette just picks up his 4th right there instead of his 5th. Now he's out the game. But Rob Wright's ability to be able to put pressure on you, and he gets lower than you, which causes problems for the defending guard. It makes it so tough. And we saw that 3 different times tonight, Mark, where Rob Wright attacked the hip, and Ouellette was just too high, and it caused him to foul.
all very intriguing, and I just bring it up for these two great coaches, the decisions being made, and I'm not saying either right or wrong, but it's interesting to look and watch the decisions that they make in these game situations with the game on the line.
I mean, hindsight is always 20/20, you know, Mark.
Yes, it is.
So I'm sure if Jamie Dixon watches it back, he might not foul right there because of what happened, but and let's take another look at this to see.
Now watch the foot of Posey. He steps on the line, but the line is out of bounds.
Yeah,
so
it's fine.
He's okay with that.
Man, look
The
like
call on the floor has been reversed. The ball was out of bounds off TCU 8.
Wow.
It will be Baylor's basketball.
So it is TCU's going to find this out. They're going to put time on the clock, but it's going to be Baylor ball.
They said it was off on Uday. And they put 1.7 back on the clock.
So now if you're Baylor, you're going to take it out on the sideline there.
1.7 seconds remaining.
Do you throw something long into the front court, knowing that even if it gets picked off, TCU's got a long way to go?
Yeah, this is what teams practice in this scenario. Throw it down long and just touch the basketball. The key thing is, Mark, you have to touch it, because if it goes out of bounds and nobody touches it, you take it out the same spot.
Throws it ahead. O'Meara gets fouled. 0.3 is all that's left. Boy, a lot went off. There wasn't much there to begin with.
Number 15. That makes 4 personal foul.
And looking like Baylor is going to win for the 5th straight time here in Fort Worth.
And if you punch, you can't allow O'Meara to be able to get in front of you. You have to keep him in that corner.
Yeah, there's more time than what. When you watch that replay, I guess it's when the foul is called.
Yeah, when the foul's called, yeah.
So the initial contact did not bring the foul. Okay, they did add some more. There's 1 second added, up to 1. That makes it a 3-point game, and this one here would ice it for sure.
But if you punch right there, you have to keep O'Meara in that corner to potentially be able to get the steal, letting him get in front of you. Kind of put him at risk and at jeopardy.
And that was for the tie, and it actually grazed rim, but Baylor survives it. What a